What if your dog's walk isn't about exercise at all, but about reading an invisible story written in scent? You think you're taking your dog for a walk, but you're not. Welcome to Unleash Curiosity by Vital Pet Life.
I'm Dr. Amber De Silva, veterinarian and advocate for integrative pet care.
And I'm Donie Yamamoto, founder and CEO of Vital Pet Life. We're so glad you're here.
This is a space where curiosity, compassion, and science converge, where we explore the powerful mind-body connection that supports your pet's health and your own.
Each week, we'll dive deep into the world of pet wellness, breaking down myths, exploring ingredients, and learning from expert voices across the industry.
From nutrition and sustainability to transparency and advocacy, we're here to help you feel more confident, connected, and informed in your care choices.
Let's get into it, because when we know better, we do better. This is Unleash Curiosity.
Dogs experience the world primarily through scent. Yet most walks are designed entirely around human priorities: speed, distance, and exercise. This episode explores why sniffing is not a distraction or a bad habit, but a vital cognitive and emotional need for every dog. We unpack the science of canine olfaction, the difference between a march walk and a true scent walk, and what your dog's sniffing behavior is actually telling you. Welcome back to Unleashed Curiosity by Vital Pet Life, where we help your furry family members live longer, healthier, happier lives.
Well, we came across an article highlighting the importance of letting dogs sniff. It reinforced that when we limit our dog's sniffing, we're essentially restricting their ability to read the world. Dr. Amber, what's your thoughts on that?
This article talked about how just extremely sensitive a dog's nose is, like so much more sensitive than our noses, and how they actually read the world through their scent. You know, they can smell a dog down the trail, they can smell a cat around the corner. And so they kind of likened it like if you're walking your dog and you're not letting them stop and sniff things, it's sort of like you being at an art gallery blindfolded. So, you know, you're not really getting the full experience of that.
Yeah. What is it that they say? Or they call it like sniffaries?
So yeah, sniffaries.
I'm very aware of that when I give Tuxedo and Martin a walk, because I wanted them to have their news, like as I go through my news feeds too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to admit that I love to walk anyway, but I love to walk for the exercise. And the new dog that I got is obese, so I need her to lose some weight. And so I'm one of those pet owners that, I do let her stop and sniff, but I'm like, okay, we got some weight to get off of both of us, so let's keep walking. So this was a good article for me to read.
Yeah. One time I took the boys, I think it's not even that far. Like we just went to like 1, 2, 3. It's just the corner. And then I took them to the ranch, and then we went to the park, and then I went back to the house. I was shocked that it took me like almost an hour, because Tuxedo was just sniffing. And I'm like, I'm going to give you time as long as I can see what you're sniffing. Don't lick. So sometimes like he licks the pee-pee. I'm like, stop doing that. Yeah.
Yep.
But that's a good article to read and have out there in the world. And then for pet owners to know that they should have their sniffing time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Dogs rely on scent the way humans rely on sight and language. Their noses are not just for detecting odors, they're tools. Right, Dr. Amber?
Yeah. So dogs, they identify people and animals and places. So it's kind of like, I think they likened it to like a bulletin board, when you're walking through your neighborhood with your dog and they stop at the hydrant, they stop at this tree, they stop at this bush. They're reading what has gone on in those places. Like they can smell all of the animals that have marked those areas or brushed up against it. So it's really, marking those places, and they remember. It's also reading emotional and biological information, and then, understanding like what happened here before, because their noses are so sensitive. They can smell things that we can't, that happened maybe a long time ago or just, a few days ago, but they can still smell it. So A dog's sense of smell is like anywhere between 10,000 or maybe even 100,000 times more sensitive than a human's. So, humans, we have about 5 to 6 million olfactory receptors. Dogs have 300 million, which means that their scent is their primary lens for understanding the world. So, it's the equivalent of our sight. They see the world through the smells.
Yeah, I mean, the article highlights a powerful idea that dogs often understand their environment better through their smell than sight.
Yeah. Yeah. So some examples are that a dog can recognize, like your own dog can recognize you through your smell before they even see you. They detect where you've been by scent traces on your clothes. So I know, like, when I get home from the clinic after work, like my dog is smelling all over my scrubs. She's smelling every animal that I've touched that day.
Yeah.
They interpret invisible stories left behind in the environment.
Sniffing is also mentally stimulating and exhausting in a healthy way.
Yeah, so that was interesting to me. Honestly never really thought about it this way, but you think about just the walking and how physically tiring that is. But with the sniffing, and they're reading so much information through those smells that it's actually like stimulating mentally, but also wearing them down, which is a good thing. It's teaching, they're learning, but they're also working out their brains and becoming mentally and physically exhausted in a good way, just exercising their minds and their bodies on those sniff walks.
Yeah. Also, dogs feel calmer when they are allowed to explore at their own pace. Is it true, Dr. Amber? I mean, I see that in Tuxedo. He seems very happy when I let him, like, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. I think that allowing them to kind of stop and sniff, it reduces their stressing and anxiety, and they have greater confidence in unfamiliar environments. They've worked out their nose, they can start to anticipate things. It gives them like a sense of autonomy and control if we just, we let them like sniff their way around their environments.
Yeah. And also, sniffing is a social behavior. Do you know what's the reasoning behind this?
Yeah. Yeah. So we think about like just, the smells. So say a, an intact dog marks a fire hydrant and my dog walks by and she smells the pee. So that's kind of like that signature of that dog. But also dogs smell things that we can't necessarily smell, like hormones, like stress. Like
Yeah, yeah.
they are so sensitive that they not only just smell things, they can actually like detect the chemicals. But like smells are chemicals, but then there's also like different layers, like the hormones that are detected by dogs. And so it's not just, oh, I smell that there was, someone dropped a treat on the ground, but I can smell that that person was in a hurry and stressed out because of this chemical trail. Like it's so much more intricate than we sometimes realize.
Yeah. Well, knowing all this, what does this mean for pet parents? Like, I mean, I know that it's very important, but yeah, for our listeners, like, how can we explain to them how the importance of sniffing?
Yeah. I think that dogs could be frustrated, if they're like really into to this certain smell and we're like, come on, keep walking, then it's like they get incomplete information.
Yeah.
And they can just get frustrated with that because they're not fully prepared. They don't have all the information that they want. And it can also like sometimes that slow sniffing is just really calming for them too. So we can
Mhm.
actually like frustrate and overstimulate them if we're pulling them along too fast and they're not able to explore their environment. And
Yeah.
then sometimes you think about like if they're just walking, yes, they're getting physical exercise, but it's kind of like disconnected from that mental stimulation and that smell stimulation. So we really miss like the enrichment that they get from their environment. And then, it's just a natural behavior. And so sometimes we just have to slow down and let them do what they would naturally do.
Yeah.
Like, I guess in my own mind, like, I think about, here I live with these beautiful mountains. And if I went on a hike
And not
and
even smell it.
if I had a blindfold on, and, if even if I could navigate the trail, but I'm not seeing the beauty around me, that would sort of be like what we're doing to our dogs if we're not letting them explore with their noses. So I think that we need to rethink our walks. Like maybe it's okay to go on those walks where you're just like, okay, let's get this done, let's burn some calories, but definitely make time for those slow, meandering, sniffing
Sniffing.
walks. And we would probably enjoy that too. I know
Yeah.
sometimes I just get so focused on like, okay, I have this amount of time to walk and I need to get my exercise in. But then I realized when I got home that I'm just looking down at the sidewalk. I'm not even looking up around at the beauty
Yeah.
around me. So I think that we need to have a balance between both of those things.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah. Well, that's a wrap. And honestly, I'm never rushing my dog on any walk again, as Tuxedo gets to enjoy.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Your dog will thank you for it. And I have to learn to slow down a little too and just let
Yeah,
my dog sniff, and it's going to be good for me to be able to look around and see the beauty all around me.
that's
And if
true.
today's episode got you thinking, we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, and if you guys got a question, an episode, topic that you want us to dig into, please email us at podcast@Vital Pet Life. We read every single one of your emails and also handwritten emails that we still receive
Yeah.
customers.
And if you haven't already, follow Unleashed Curiosity wherever you listen. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and YouTube. Subscribe, leave us a review. It genuinely helps more pet lovers find the show.
Yeah, until next time, walk slow, sniff often, and see you on our next episode.